Do you want to be the invincible vanguard of your fire team, shrugging off damage that would vaporize any other guardian while also protecting your allies from harm? What is going on, Guardians? Dorvrich here, and this is the most insane build I have ever experienced in Destiny 2. When I first put out the Invincible Titan build last season, a buff was the last thing I expected. I don't know what Bungie was thinking with these changes, but here we are solo in Master Lightblade, 25 power underlevel, so essentially a Grandmaster, and nothing can touch us. We laugh in our enemies' faces as they desperately try to hurt us, while carving a path of pure destruction through their ranks. The first major buff comes from the brand new Strand Titan aspect, Banner of War. Banner of War activates on melee, finisher, or sword kill, projecting an aura that provides a 40% melee and 10% sword damage boost, as well as healing over time that grows stronger with kills. This makes us and our teammates extremely survivable and has excellent synergy with our second aspect, Into the Fray. Into the Fray causes our destroyed tangles to emit pulses that grant the Woven Mail buff, providing an enormous 60% damage reduction. It also increases our melee recharge rate, but the fireteam-wide damage reduction is the important part, especially when combined with the non-stop healing from Banner of War. With the damage reduction from Woven Mail coupled with the Banner of War healing, at maximum banner stacks, everyone will be healing for 50 effective health per second. For comparison, the Solar Restoration buff heals for 40 health per second, so this is already insane, and it's only the beginning. Since we make our teammates extremely hard to kill as long as we're alive, it only makes sense that we make ourselves completely unkillable with a playstyle that also benefits from Banner of War. And the perfect way to do that is with the criminally underused exotic Titan gauntlets, Stronghold. Stronghold essentially turbocharges our sword block by maxing out its block stats, nullifying all energy drain from blocking, and adding another 50% damage reduction on top of what we already get from blocking. As we block damage with Stronghold, we accumulate stacks of Perfect Guard, which are consumed when we attack out of the block to grant us the ×2 restoration buff for up to 16 seconds, depending on the number of stacks accumulated. This brings us to the other massive buff that this build received. With Season 22, the damage reduction range on sword blocks was buffed and now caps out at 95%, depending on the guard resistance stat. Since Stronghold maxes out all stats on our sword block, this means we can use any sword in the game to achieve 95% damage reduction while blocking. For swords like the Lament, this buff is insane. What used to be an 80% block is now a 95% block, which means the buff quadrupled our effective health on the Lament. And this is before we even factor in other sources of damage reduction like Woven Mail or the extra 50% from Stronghold. Our fragments serve to push our insane survivability even further, starting with Thread of Warding, which grants us Woven Mail whenever we pick up an Orb of Power. Between this and the Into the Fray aspect to get Woven Mail from our tangles, we will rarely if ever drop the buff. Thread of Transmutation gives us another way to generate tangles by making one whenever we get a weapon kill with Woven Mail. This build is not very heavy on enemy debuffs, so having another way to make tangles helps ensure that we can keep making them on cooldown to provide Woven Mail. Thread of Generation helps our grenade uptime by returning grenade energy with every instance of damage we deal, allowing us to use Shackle Grenade more frequently. While it's not necessary in every engagement, the utility of Shackle Grenade is difficult to argue with, even after the Suspend nerf. Our last fragment, Thread of Continuity, makes all our Strand debuffs last 50% longer, which makes our Shackle Grenade a little better and helps to somewhat counteract the shorter duration post-nerf. Our mod package is focused on enhancing our sword damage and providing additional support to our teammates through orb generation. Our orb generators consist of siphon mods matching our sword and main ad-clear weapon, and heavy-handed to make an orb whenever we land a kill with our powered melee. These orbs both give us Woven Mail through Thread of Warding and generate armor charge stacks, which are consumed by 2 copies of a surge mod matching our sword element to give our sword a 17% damage bonus. When combined with Banner of War, this is a 29% sword damage bonus in total, which allows our sword to melt through everything. Double Time Dilation extends our surge timer to 18 seconds per stack, maximizing uptime by allowing us to hold nearly a full minute of the buff. To minimize our odds of running out of sword ammo, We're using a copy of Heavy Ammo Finder to get more ammo drops, and a matching scavenger for more ammo per pickup. We only have one other core mod, and that is Lucent Blades, which increases the charge rate stat of our swords by 30. While this used to only be necessary for the Lament due to its unique charge mechanic, the recharge delay after heavy attack on other swords is now based on charge rate, so this mod is mandatory. The rest of the mods on the arms and class item are largely up to preference. I recommend Proximity Ward on the Mark to make finishers much safer to perform, turning them into one of the safest ways to activate Banner of War without burning sword ammo. While this shines in difficult content, it can be replaced with a finisher payoff mod in easier content, where dying during a finisher is unlikely. I also have Impact Induction and Momentum Transfer on the arms to allow our grenade and melee ability to help each other's cooldowns, but a loader mod or even a font mod wouldn't be bad here either. Fill in the rest of the slots with the appropriate damage resists and stat mods. Prioritize Resilience first for another 30% damage reduction at 100 Resilience, followed by Mobility for faster movement while blocking, and finally Discipline to help bring Shackle Grenade back faster. This completes our suite of damage reduction sources. With everything stacked up, 95% damage reduction from blocking, 50% from Stronghold, 60% from Woven Mail, 30% from Resilience, and 15% from each of our 2 resist mods, we have a grand total of 99.5% damage reduction, or only 0.5% of incoming damage taken. This is absolutely disgusting, as you can see here when we eat a full volley from the Master Lightblade boss and our health barely budges. With the Restoration times 2 buff healing us for raw 65 HP per second, an enemy would have to deal more than 13,000 damage per second to kill us through our block with our buffs up. No enemy currently in the game is capable of this amount of damage, which makes us truly invincible. As for weapon choice, we can be unkillable with any sword we'd like thanks to the block changes, but the Lament stands head and shoulders above the rest for its unparalleled damage and survivability. The Lament is the only sword currently in the game that has no recharge delay after its heavy attack, meaning we can block again immediately instead of having to wait for a full second. Its lifesteal is also amplified by our damage reduction and adds yet another layer of survivability. If not using the Lament, make sure your sword has the Tireless Blade perk for maximum ammo efficiency. Apart from the sword, bring an ammo-efficient special weapon that can add clear, such as a wave frame grenade launcher and a utility primary. As for the ability rotation, there really isn't a fixed order in which to do things, but it is important to ensure that our buffs are online before doing anything extra dangerous. At the beginning of combat, either make and collect an orb or generate and break a tangle to gain Woven Mail. Melee, sword, or finisher something to activate Banner of War, and from there you're good to go in. Block as you close the gap to protect your life total and gain perfect guard stacks. Then cut down all who stand in your way. Stay mindful of heavy hitting attacks and block them. Throw tangles to provide Woven Mail when necessary, and become the holy warrior of your fire team as you lead the charge to victory. Drop a like if you found this video helpful or entertaining, subscribe if you want to see more like it, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, Guardians.